Recording in
positive that we haven't
progress.
got a lot more to add. So it's really, really good for us and for you guys, I suppose. The less you see of us, the better, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Please do leave.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So moving on from the police report, engage the community. 15 minutes is set aside to allow local people to raise their issues and concerns. Do I have any issues to be raised from the community?
Yeah, my name's Rodney Bridge. I live in Bailey Lane. I use the tennis courts quite frequently, and I raised what I'm going to say with the parish clerk maybe a couple of months ago, so I hope it has been recorded. It disappoints me to go there from time to time to see how they're being misused, and by that I mean the amount of litter that is left by people after they finish playing, glass strewn over the court, people ignoring the fact that there is a litter bin just outside the court. The other problem, inside the little shelter, there was a long time ago, I guess before my time, a sort of box bench, which was obviously stored stuff or something. That has been ripped apart and is now used as a litter bin. Vape boxes, all sorts of rubbish goes in there as well. What I might suggest, with all due respect, is perhaps we have a litter bin actually in that little shelter rather than outside, and perhaps a notice fixed onto the fence or to say, please take your litter home. It might just work, but I suspect in some cases, some people are so irresponsible that they'll just ignore that anyway. And there's nothing much one can do about that, really. But that's my point, really, about the litter. And just finally, in the maintenance point of view, it's now coming to the end of the season. There's a lot of growth, weeds, strong weeds, growing around the outside of the court. And if you're not careful, the roots of those weeds will get under the asphalt and start raising it. Okay, it's outside the playing surface, but over time it will destroy the outer part of the court. So perhaps as an ongoing maintenance thing during the summer season, that actually somebody goes around and sprays all the weeds. I mean, I'm happy to do that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So, I didn't give your name, you just said you were from Bailey Lane.
Sorry?
Rodney Page.
Rodney Bridge.
Bridge,
yeah,
Bridge.
Bailey Lane.
Thank you much.
Okay.
Justin?
Thank you. About the notice boards again. So I'll step forward so we'll here. So the notice boards were delivered in April this year, 2024. So we're now 5+ months on. The Castle Meadow board still isn't up, and I believe the final decision of that location was made in July. And the old St Mary's board, it would be good to have an update on that. So the question is, why isn't the Castle Meadow board up? And I would note as well that there's no historical information on either the notice board that has gone up in Minster Street or the one here outside the offices. And we were told that it was a requirement that these boards had historical information on them. So that's my first question. My second one is to do with transparency. The P&R committee minutes aren't yet available to view on the website. The question for that is why. That meeting was on the 17th of September. But in that meeting, which I watched, there was a discussion about the payment schedule and the publishing of the payment schedule. It's a requirement of the financial regulations that it is published, and this has now been noted. However, there was a discussion that ensued about redacting this payment schedule. This discussion has been had previously. Councillor Blackman quite rightly pointed out that all information will be available come the inspection period, the annual inspection period of the accounts. So my question would be, why would you wish to redact any information on that? The committee decided that they would redact as and when they wished to. If you are paying an individual for work that they have done for the council or expenses they have incurred in doing work for the council, why would you not want that information to be on there? It's a matter of transparency. And someone is going to answer this and say GDPR. It's not relevant in that situation. We shouldn't be in a situation where payments are being made and we do not know to whom. I have noted that on the minutes now, the names of people attending aren't recorded, but yet the clerk has just come and asked people for their names. So if you're going to refer to GDPR, what do you do with that information? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Moore.
I would like to make a statement. At the recent civic service for the mayor on the 15th of September, a friend of mine took a picture after the service of my daughter and a few councillors in the background. I put this picture on my Facebook page. Following this, a former councillor commented on the picture, complaining that Councillor Taylor was making a rude gesture and that it was inappropriate for a councillor. I understand that subsequent verbal complaints were also made at public meetings and a formal complaint is being made to the council. I immediately took the picture down and reviewed it with my husband. Councillor Taylor is emphatically not making a rude gesture in the photo. Councillor Taylor is a well-respected councillor. She's well known and well liked by the people of Wilton and has been on the council for more than 10 years. She makes great efforts for the council and the wider community in Wilton while working full-time. She does not deserve the stress of having to deal with a false, vexatious complaint against her to the council or attempts to embarrass her on social media. We seem to have developed a culture in Wilton of former councillors spending way too much time searching social media for the slightest fault with the council and councillors, and then attacking them from the safety of their keyboards. We as councillors are not perfect, but we're community-minded volunteers doing our best with a very limited staffing and financial means available to the council. It would be good if some of our former members remembered this instead of trying to make petty, false points and raising vexatious complaints for their own political gain.
Yeah. Councillor Moore. Are there any?
Could I just make a comment on that and to make it clear that as a former councillor, I haven't made any comment at all reference that photo, but I think if you're going to say that, I think you should name the people that you're talking about, because that then could be applied just to everybody. And I think sometimes it's better to just see us as townsfolk now rather than former councillors.
I'm very happy to name the individual. It's not talking about you, Paula, it's talking about Peter Edge.
Thank you. Are there any comments online?
No, nothing.
No further. Any comments from the rest of the floor? Bill Matthews?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Valley News came out yesterday for October, and on the front page it says Town Hall shakeout planned. There's quite a few comments on there. I don't know if you've seen them at all. Referring to the minutes, why is Wilton Town Council only looking to outsource finance? Clerk could do finance and get a locum to do admin duties. Need to address current situation. This is a short-term solution. Not enough information. Discussion on staff and recent staffing reviews. Struggling with quotes. Unsure how they can quote. What if the clerk doesn't get the information to them? How will success be measured? Not seen a job description of staff. Can't identify what needs to be achieved. Will the full council meeting? If it wasn't for some councillors, nothing would get done. This came straight to full council, normally debated in committees first. Currently in a crisis with the clerk overworked, the need to get someone in, prefer someone more local, consider a cap on how much is spent, need someone who understands accountancy. It goes on and on. I don't know if the councillors have seen this front page, but I would like their comments on it.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Have you seen it?
I don't read it. Just a comment about the previous comment. That's a straightforward copy of the minutes of the meeting, and there's no reporting in it whatsoever.
That's what I'm reading.
Mr. Wells?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors. Two things. My first statement is coming from myself. I took that photograph of the councillor and she was not gesturing inappropriately, so I'd like that on the record, please. And if Mr. Edge wants to contact me directly himself to have that conversation, I welcome him to do so. And secondly, I'd like to make a report on behalf of the community centre, if I may, please. Specifically, I want to just hone on a couple of things. The first is we have an issue with our Wi-Fi at the moment, so we have an intermittent problem with the home hub, which we're looking into. Some of our users may experience some difficulties, and that is something that we're looking into. Bearing in mind we coughed out £964 for it to be installed in 2014, and it's been updated since. We need to make some investigations. So just if you are down there, be prepared that you might not be able to access the Wi-Fi. In much better news, I'm very pleased to share with you that on Friday night we held the charity prize bingo in aid of Salisbury Hospice, and we had 96 people attend the bingo with about half a dozen helpers, and I'm delighted to tell you, and the support and the help from Dawn Lise Humphreys and Sue Humphreys and Teresa Taylor, who was calling on the night. On the night, we raised £889 for the hospice, and then an additional £400 was donated by Nikki Pomfret, which is amazing, brings to the total of £1,289, which is absolutely outstanding. So I'd like to thank everybody that was involved in that and everybody who came along and supported it. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for stepping in the last minute to pull the raffle prizes out of the hat. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any further comments from the community?
Do you need me to do my carnival report now?
Yes, please, if you want.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura, I'm chair of the carnival.
If it's lengthy, you can email it in as well.
Yeah, sure, but I will go over what you might want to know.
Okay, thank you.
We ran another successful carnival this year for the 76th year since its establishment, and this year our heroes were Charlotte and Pete Blackman, recognised for their voluntary work in the local community, and they helped open the carnival with myself and Richard Hilliard. Alan and his wife Yvonne assisted in awarding prizes at the procession, and that was managed by former carnival team member Chris, along with several other carnival teams, and that was a great success having him involved. We welcomed new attendees this year, including Chris White's funeral directors with their horse-drawn carriage, Sarah Morris dancers, and representatives from Wilton Town Council. And building on last year's successes feedback, we were more ambitious. We offered free archery, subsidised climbing wall, street theatre, and a traditional fair organ, which were all received positively, and we will incorporate again next year. We estimate the footfall was about 3,000 people again, and we had a fantastic lineup of entertainment, finishing with a live band, the Show Ponies. We experimented with an improved site layout, and we recognised that there would be further changes needed for next time. Regarding the fundraising, throughout the year, along with generous gifts and prize donations, we had £500 in grants from Wilton Town Council, £3,000 in sponsorship, and about £3,700 in fundraising profits and stall deposits. The carnival itself generated over £4,700, and our total income was £12,211.25.
And we needed to make some repairs and fix equipment and replace things that we borrowed that got broken, and allocate money for future liabilities such as a new licence, public liability insurance, etc. We were left with a surplus, and with that we've decided to donate £750 to Wilton Football Club to support grassroots sports, specifically helping them fund their home games this season, and additionally £1,500 is being given to the transformation of a space at the school. We believe that they were looking for 6,000 and they've raised the rest of that, so that should be going ahead, and we'd like to thank them with that money for all their efforts and the support they've given to the carnival. And I'd just like to thank everybody that was involved. It was a really great year, despite what we tried to
Mayor, other than that, can I say that Mary Hawley, the first carnival princess after the Second World War, died the other day in the area of 98, 99, and her father, Sam Shergold, was a member of this town council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to say congratulations to Jason Barnes and all of his team for organising such an enjoyable and successful evening last Friday. It really was great fun, and I know from experience how much very hard work and many hours goes into organising such a thing, and thanks to the generosity, I dare say, of local business and local individuals in donating some excellent prizes. Sadly, only one of them came my way, but we will enjoy that. But yeah, congratulations to everyone involved. It was really great fun, and I don't know, maybe it could be an annual thing. It was really good fun, so thank you.
Okay,
She's in Birmingham.
She said she'd given apologies, but I haven't received them.
Okay.
I think she gave them to you.
I'm not sure. All right, then I've had the apologies. There'll be no report from the unitary councillor on this evening. So I'll reinstate standing orders, and we'll go back to community engagement matters. Okay, Mr. Bridge, the issues with the tennis courts, we are well aware of some of the maintenance issues there. You may have noticed that some things have happened in the brick shed now. Some of the electrical equipment that was vandalised in there has now been removed. But we are aware, and that is being referred to the Environment and Communities Committee, because they are on top of that with regard to the benching and what to do with regard to the overwinter maintenance.
Thank you.
Okay. Paul Johnston, the notice boards, the perennial notice boards. You may be aware that there is an issue now with planning permission.
I'm not aware of that. Could you elaborate?
And that is that because the notice board is bigger than 1.2 square metres, so we have to apply for planning permission. Particularly for St Mary's. And the decision on where to place the Castle Meadow notice board was only made last month by a site visit from members from the Environment and Communities Committee.
I think it was made in July and reported to the full council meeting at the beginning of August. The question's the same. Why hasn't it been installed?
Contractor? Yeah. I think the problem is we had the contractor who put in the one at Minster Street. We were hoping the two could be done at the same time, but that didn't happen. So we have a contractor that we're still waiting for to put that one in at the agreed location.
Do you have a time scale? Because otherwise we'll be back to it's wet, I can't do it.
No, I'm sorry, I don't. But that is, it's on our to-do list. That's all I have to say.
Leave it with you, Gail?
Sorry?
Will I leave it with you?
Yeah, we can definitely sort it. I did tell you, but he also knows.
Yeah, I don't, the planning commission, I don't really
Sorry,
understand.
this is,
I don't really understand that. Has that been applied for, or is it the church that applies for it?
that will need to be discussed, I'm afraid. The historical panels have been agreed for a while now, and they just need to go to the printers for the A3 size format that we can't produce. So that again is on the to-do list. The publishing of the payment schedule. Councillor Hatton, do you have any recollection of the final outcome of that?
Yes, my recollection, Mr. Mayor, is, and I think it's on there, but it's slightly confusing because a decision was made and then we reviewed that. But correct me if I'm wrong, but we decided that that everything would be published in the minutes, but the controversy had to be about the column 2, which is the name of the company or the individual to whom the money is being paid, and we decided that would be published. But there may be a very occasional exception where we think it wouldn't be appropriate to name the individual, probably an individual. There has been an example earlier this year where some work was done by a friend of a councillor, and it was felt really that they might not have done that work. We were in a bit of a jam. They did us a bit of a favour. They were paid accordingly, but perhaps they might not have done had their name been made public. It wasn't, it was a bit more of a last minute help us out thing. So in that scenario, we wouldn't have wanted to name the individual. But in most cases, all the information will be published, but we just reserve the right to occasionally not do so.
That's what I believe it's.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, sorry, I have a comment on this, but would you like me to wait till we get to the minutes or raise it now? Because I will be raising it when we get to the minutes. It's very similar to what Ms. Johnson's raised, and therefore I really believe there should be no admissions to the payment schedule. It should be completely transparent, and anyone for favours or for anything else should be completely prepared to undertake work with us as long as they're prepared for their name to be made public going forward from this point on, would be my view, but I'll raise it again if necessary.
I believe they keep a list of those attending the meetings, but it's not published. That's just for our record.
What record then?
Well, I understand in the past names used to be limited, didn't they?
Then it was decided that wouldn't happen. So I'm just wondering where this information.
Why did that process of deciding not to have names on the minutes happen?
I don't know.
Before my time. Oh, maybe. Okay. Does it simplify when people want their names redacted from any of the council documents?
Sorry, but if we're going to hold data on people's names, we must have a purpose for holding it, which is, I think, the point of the question. So therefore, why are we holding that information if we're not using it? That's the question that needs to be answered. And I think it's a very legitimate data protection question that we should answer.
Is that something that has to be agreed with you now? thing I'm going to propose is goes back to P&R committee for confirmation of what our stance is on this.
Sorry, but the question has to be answered. Why have we captured that information tonight? What is the purpose of capturing it? That should be answered tonight, because we're holding that information as of now. I get it needs to go back to policy committee and be discussed, but we've captured the names of members of the public here. What are we doing with that information? That's all that needs to be declared.
What happens with the people who are on Zoom?
We don't capture it. But what are you doing? Irrespective, we have to answer that. What are we doing with that data?
I remember coming to my first council meeting here where you had to sign in on the
I used to, yeah.
Sorry, the point is, the question is legitimate, right? And we are not answering it. We need to answer that question at some point, if not tonight, but we need to give the member of the public the answer to that question. Why are we capturing this data and what we're doing with it? That's what's been asked, and that's what we need to answer.
So if I say to you we're doing it for fire regulations, we just need to know who's in the building, is that an answer that?
Is that the answer?
I don't know.
Well, I'd ask the person that collected the information.
If it was for the purpose of fire, surely we could destroy the names after the meeting. They wouldn't need to be kept in the office.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, so what are we doing with it? Just to be clear, because...
I'd like to put it in PNR if that's okay.
Well, yeah, that's entirely your discretion, but ultimately, if they were being published with the minutes, there would be a purpose for them being captured, right? They used to be, and now they're not. And we don't know why they're not. But if that's what they're...
Was anybody here when it was?
Yes.
Yeah, but I wasn't here when it
Stopped.
That's what I mean, so on what? I don't know why it stopped. I don't know. I used to be a member of the public before I became a councillor, and I always had to sign in.
This is a total nonsense.
I don't know either. I can't answer. It must have gone to committee to agree to take them.
Apparently I'm told that the reason for recording the names and then not printing them, not putting them, is because if we have somebody wishing to have their name redacted from all council documentation, right, that's why we don't put names into the minutes now.
That would be a subject matter access request, where a member of the public could then request for their data to be removed, but they would provide their name on that request, not in the minutes. I think we should take, just for the benefit of everyone here, I think we should take this offline, but I think we need to come back with a formal answer to the member of the public as to why tonight we've captured that information and what we plan to do with it. But I don't think we can answer it tonight. I think we need to answer it later.
Here. Quite right.
So we're going to answer now.
It's going to be a long night.
Doesn't need to be there.
I used to sign it as public, and then when I was a councillor, it was always in the minutes. He was in, he wasn't, even when I wasn't.
Mr. Mayor, you know, as a bystander, surely the point is just to record the numbers of people that come rather than the names. I say, you know, for the discussion, I can't see the point in naming a name unless you ask a specific question, which is then recorded in the minutes, so you can actually get back at some stage in the future to that particular person who asked the question. But apart from that, there's no point in taking the name. Just take the number. That will show democracy in action, that people in Wilton do actually come to your meeting.
I agree.
Mr. Mayor, one time the Salisbury Journal and Valley News used to send reporters here, and they always named everybody, even the members of the public, whatever they said.
Just do numbers.
I just think just take it away from here and come back.
Yeah, ask a question.
Is it acceptable? In my experience, having been here for a while, yes, we used to record names of everybody attending, we used to record in the minutes the names of the person who asked the question, which is why we still have the habit of saying, please say your name and where you live. I think this whole needs to go back to committee. I think we are where we are because there's a combination of history. It's not really been challenged to this extent before, rightly or wrongly. You know, it takes someone to think of this for the debate to happen. And I think time now, I think, yes, it probably is perfectly adequate to not take names. It's believed that because of fire regulations, we need to know the names, but I know in a lot of offices now, you don't need to read a register outside, you just need one person to check the building's empty. So I think there's a lot of issues. There's GDPR issues, there's fire regulations, there's various things we need to think about. And thank you for raising the issue. I would like to see it go back to committee for proper debate on all the elements involved. It seems like a small thing, but it is quite an important thing. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I suspend standing orders.
I was just going to say, as somebody who attends public meetings, and we always keep a record of all of our public meetings, who's there, but we have a sign-in sheet and we ask whether people are happy for their details to be published in the minutes, just a tick box on the side. But we always keep a record of who's there. But often people would like to know if they're involved in that organisation, who attended that meeting. As a you know, a townsperson of Wilton, I'd like to know sometimes who's attended the meetings. And if people are willing to speak on a public basis, they should be happy for their name to be out there. You know, it's not on the internet with pseudonyms, you know, let's just put our names to it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You're absolutely right. Paula Johnson's absolutely right. Councillor's absolutely right. If you're going to take our name tonight, I want to know here and now what you're going to do with my name, which I have a right to know. And secondly, if I make a data subject access request and I find that my name is not on there in these meetings tonight, why isn't my name on it? Because I've not asked for it to be redacted. So GDPR is covered here, but you have to explain why you are taking people's names before you start the meeting, and that would solve your problem. So look it up, check it out, and then come back to us, please, once you've had your discussions, and we'd be delighted to hear what your responses are. Thank you.
And I'm going to suggest we're going to look it up, see what the conditions are, and come back to it.
Thank you very much.
Reinstate standing orders. Reinstate standing orders.
Yes, yes, yes.
Reinstate standing orders.
Mr. Mayor, reinstate standing orders.
Okay, so,
I'm reinstating standing orders to respond to Mr. Matthews. Basically, it was answered by a member of the community here, Mr. Cutler, and everything that was in the Valley News came from our minutes. So it's not news, it's just a reprinting of what we're doing.
I don't know, I never read it. You read it?
It's just a
Paste.
copy of minutes. It's absolute. It's a non-story.
No, right. I have not read it. I haven't got one. I don't get it delivered.
What's a story you can read on the website? Our website, sorry.
Secretary Councillor Moore, thank you, but no comment on that. Okay, Mr. Barnes in reply. Thank you for the warning about the Wi-Fi being an issue. We didn't need it for the bingo, so that was okay. I thoroughly enjoyed the bingo session, and as Councillor Blackman suggested, I would recommend if you could survive to get in all the prizes. There must have been over 50 or 60 prizes in that evening. That was a tremendous background effort that had gone before it, but it made the whole evening as far as I was concerned.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. And as quite rightly been said, the support from local business and individuals supplying the prizes was absolutely outstanding. So we should feel very proud to work and live in this town. I thank them personally.
And thank you to Laura for the carnival report, and tremendous effort again, and as the applause at the end suggested, you know, the whole town is behind the carnival as an annual event, a long-standing annual event. We're very proud of what we're doing there. Okay. And thank you, Mr. Matthews, for the note with regard to Mary Hawley. 98 was a good age. Complete community engagement. Can I now ask if we have any declarations of interest? I'd like to make a statement in this section saying that after seeking advice, I'm going to declare that with regard to agenda item 18824, which is the planning application, although I reside in the Wilton Hill estate, I have no boundary with the application red line and have no pecuniary interest in the specific applications. So I'm looking at state from record. And I presume that might apply to all the other.
I'd like to say that applies to myself as well, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so that applies to Councillor Moore, Page, Harrison, and Ward. Thank you. Do we have any dispensation requests?
None.
In that case, I'll move on to the Mayor's report. Exclusion of the press and public. Do you have any items where we need to exclude the press and public?
No, I don't think so.
Moving on to the Mayor's report, to give a brief report of events and engagements attended by the Mayor of Wilton. On Sunday the 8th of September, the Mayoress and I attended the Great Wishwood Red Stone unveiling. A very good event with dignitaries present and some good entertainment afterwards in a lovely church. On Wednesday the 11th of September, we gave 2 talks in Old St Mary's as part of the Heritage Days. And on Saturday the 14th, we also hosted the Heritage Days Council Chamber open to the public event in here. And on Sunday the 15th, we participated in the Wilton Mayor Civic Service for the community in the St Mary and St Nicholas Church. We would like to thank everybody who supported these Wilton events, especially those who helped out with the catering for the civic service, which was a last minute request from many. To receive notice of upcoming events from the Mayor, on Sunday the 13th of October we will be attending the Mayor's Civic Service in Royal Wootton Bassett. And planning is underway for the Remembrance Sunday service on the 10th of November, the Christmas Lights event on the 29th of November, and the Mayor's Christmas Family Barn Dance, we haven't quite got the name right yet, on the 14th of December. Okay. So next item on the agenda is to receive the minutes and agree the recommendations of the staffing committee meeting held on the 16th of September. Whereas,
Ready. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So to receive the minutes and the recommendations and agree the recommendations of the staffing committee on the 16th of September, These are all as a result of the independent LCC review that we all agreed at a full council meeting that we would go ahead with and have in Wilton Town Council. So the first one, consideration should be given to the proposed officer structure suggested, including the revised hours of work and, where applicable, the salary changes and implemented as soon as is practically agreed, if agreed, sorry, put my teeth in. So we agreed to recruit a deputy clerk for 30 hours per week and later consider the appointment of an administration assistant for 22 hours per week, with flexibility on hours being essential. Just to add to that, the later consideration of the admin assistant is a consideration. So at the moment we're proposing we put a advert out and employ a deputy clerk for 30 hours, but the admin assistant is a hold on file, as it were, to see if we need it. Is not a definite to do. We amended the town clerk's role to focus on the finance, RFO role and policies, and myself to contact WorkNest, read the drafting of advert and job descriptions, which I have already done. Next one, to commence the process of drawing up job descriptions to suit the new revised roles and moving to a corporate suite of job descriptions, again to be discussed with WorkNest, so that one hasn't been started. Just ensure the officer budget provision is suitable for the balance of financial year 24-25 and thereafter, and that will be considered at the budget working group meeting later in the month. To consider a move to the NJC grading structure for salaries paid, again that is to be considered. As a matter of priority, commence the process of drawing up a corporate plan to include identifying a vision and key themes for Wilton Town Council, ensuring full input to it by all councillors, all officers, stakeholders and residents. So that was agreed. Consideration should be given to agreeing a strategy as regards preset levels moving forward. So that was again agreed to consideration. Consider drawing up a devolution plan in readiness for any opportunities ahead. And it was agreed to monitor the situation with Wiltshire Council and devolution. Next one, consider arranging a councillor/officer development event if deemed necessary. And it was agreed to try and hold a development event within the next 12 months. Seek to undertake an appraisals option on future office accommodation arrangements. So that was agreed and obviously has been discussed in the past as well. Set an aim to meet the local council quality gold standard within 3 years. Agreed to do that, and set an aim to achieve green flag status for certain parks and open spaces managed by Wilton Town Council within the next 3 years. So that was agreed as well. And one other thing I would just like to add to that, back to the first one, consideration should be given to proposed office structure and recruiting a deputy clerk. Adverts, job spec, job description, etc. If agreed tonight, will it all go out and will be advertised prior to the next full council meeting. We have a staffing meeting next week to agree those, and then it would go out.
Thank you. May I ask a question?
You may.
When these came round on email, I asked at the time, I don't recall having seen a response, I might have missed it. 17.5 about the corporate plan, and it says it will be drawn up all councillors, officers, stakeholders and residents. Is that right? Stakeholders, I'm not sure who this stakeholders would be, and residents. Are we involving residents in drawing up a corporate plan? Right.
It was right, yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what we said, but I know.
I don't know residents would be involved in that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, straight from the review. Yeah, and we did discuss it at the meeting.
My
Yep.
apologies, thank you.
Any other questions?
Are you going to propose this?
I will propose it.
Councillor Wilton. You second it? All in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
To receive the minutes and agree the recommendations of the Policy and Resources Committee meeting held on the 17th of September 2024. I think there needs to be a small correction to the minutes in that although Councillor Blackman declared an interest in agenda item PR 98.44 as the recipient of the training, the town clerk pointed out this was not necessary as there was no personal financial involvement. I would therefore propose that the declaration of interest item is removed from the minute record. Oh, sorry, right, not that.
We're not approving the minutes,
Okay.
you're receiving them.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so to recommend the following items, PR 9824-1, the income and expenditure dated 31st of August was reviewed and approved. Second item, PR 9824-2, to publish the pay schedule in the minutes of the meeting, that the Wilton Town Council retains the right to redact individual names if necessary, and this redaction is to be agreed upon all funds payable. So I believe that element of that approved to be
That's what you said.
No, I'm just saying that I don't agree with, well, I don't personally support it, and democracy will win because if I'm outvoted, I'm absolutely fine with that, but I don't think we should be redacting any names. I don't think there should be any need to redact names. I think this council should be on a foundation of transparency, and I think having the option to redact names is just not necessary, to be quite frank.
For the purpose of minutes, if we approve that and then we evaluate what we're doing going forward from now.
So we're saying then it goes back to PNR,
Yes.
again, decision, back to full council. Can we not, as a council, agree an amendment to this?
I think we take out that, potentially, if that's what we're going to do, we take out that second part of the sentence. So we keep in to publish pay schedule in the minutes of the meeting. I don't know.
So can I make a proposal here based on this particular subject, Clark?
The full council doesn't have to carry this motion, do they? That's.
You can't change what you agreed at the
Agree, yeah.
You agreed on it, voted on it, it was.
The case we have there can't be had tomorrow.
We can't have 6 months.
I think that's what was it.
Because you made a decision.
But correct if I'm wrong, but PNR don't make a decision for the council, which is why it comes to full council for decision. Yeah. So they made it, so just to be clear, they made a recommendation. Recommendation was made at PNR. That recommendation has come here for full council approval. A member of the full council is suggesting an amendment to that recommendation. All members are here to vote on it. So why could it not be voted on tonight in relation to this particular?
Because you weren't at PNR.
No.
Last time it happened, I just thought there wasn't enough time to consider it, so I think it is.
If we,
It's not a motion to amend that one on the, either refer it back to PNR.
because if we take this forward as it is, we would have to wait another 6 months before we can
If you take
change
this
it.
forward, what you're taking forward is that you retain the right, but it has to be agreed and voted on and authorised.
I'm not saying we're definitely going to do it, I suppose.
Authorising payments.
But
So it has to be agreed that you will redact that name.
Right, so Councillor Housen, for example, could disagree to redact a name. he and others, if they wish, could not agree to redact the name.
Because we're not saying you will, we're saying you
We retain the right, yes.
But if I vote that on my own and lose that vote, that then gets redacted. My point is, we shouldn't be redacting names. This council works on behalf of the public. All information that can be shared should be shared. This should be shared. That statement shouldn't even be in there, quite frankly. And I would like to potentially, up to you, Mr. Mayor, disregard the clerk's advice on this occasion, make the amendment to the item. Councillor Forbes said, remove that part of the sentence, and the full council and the council vote on it as part of this section. Would be what I'd suggest we do.
I would like to propose that we put this to DNR. Because it's a sensitive issue for people, and therefore we have got to.
But Mr. Mayor, are we not as a council here to make decisions, and we have the guidance from the clerk, and it's for us then to adhere to it or take it on or move forward?
But we're making decisions on the motions presented.
Because we have been selected as councillors from Wilton Town to represent them for this reason.
So if we're deciding on that particular motion, we as a council can decide to accept or reject it.
But then,
Reject it, then we have to take it to the next step.
but is it in the public interest to go and put this back through another committee, bring it back to full council, waste the time of these volunteers that are sat at this table, along with the public's time who are sat there watching, when we could make that amendment? We have the power as this council tonight to adjust that and say, actually, we want to change it.
But do we all know pros and cons of what we're talking about here?
I think we've discussed this over and over again, and I completely agree with Councillor Harris. We're making an amendment for this. We're all here right now, and we'll make a decision on that amendment. Or they're taking it back through PNR and then back through, as with every all our meetings. That's why ENA never gets anywhere. It goes so many times round and round that we don't progress. All of us are here right now.
So are you fully aware or know the ins and outs of why things?
Yes, I think Councillor Blackman Tracy has mentioned it a few times, not just this once. I think he had mentioned again on several other occasions. I'm pretty certain I've heard the arguments.
So you're happy for any name to be on?
Yeah.
Yes. I would propose wording says something to the effect of, excuse me, sorry. I would expect the wording to say something to the effect of to publish the pay schedule in the minutes of the meeting on the basis that all beneficiaries know in advance that their names will be made available to the public. As simple as that.
Right. Okay, whereas at the moment, they don't know that.
Well, I don't know whether they know or whether they don't, but what we're saying here is that we'll make the commitment that if anyone is going to benefit or is going to be receiving the council's money for services received by the council, that information, they need to be made aware that their names will be published. And if they choose not to take on the work, then fine.
So could you read that?
Yes, so to publish the pay schedule in the minutes of the meeting, but that Wilton Town Council, to publish the pay schedule in the minutes of the meeting on the basis that any receivers of the council's money will be made aware that their names will be in the public domain as a result.
Okay, could you email something to that effect?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so that is an amendment you're proposing.
I am proposing.
Is there a second vote for that? Councillor Moore? All in favour? Okay. So can I go back and deal with the previous one, as we're on one, so the income and expenditure dated 31st of August was reviewed and approved. I'll propose that. Second that. Councillor Page, all in favour? Item 3, PR 9924-1, to adopt the terms of reference for the budget working group. Propose that. Second that. Councillor Forbes, all in favour? And finally, to publish the current balance of S106 contributions each month at full council. Close that, second that. Councillor Boyd, all in favour? Okay, the next item to move on to is to respond to the following planning application following the receipt of amended plans on the 27th of August 2024. This is application PL 2021-08160 Land off Vicarage Road. A mixed-use development comprising 52 dwellings, an innovation centre with 15 bedroom flats above, access up the avenue, 8 roads for traffic. Do I have any comments from the councillors?
Should I have done it? Really? I knew that was going to happen all the time.
The Incraft report, you've seen that in the past, the previous submissions of this proposed development were both objected to by the council with a number of comments. Do we regard those comments as still standing?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Do we wish to add further comments to the existing comments?
So all they've done is take
in the light of the new proposal?
Wow.
Your comments still stand.
Yeah,
what else there is to add to that?
The planning application is still going through, isn't it? So it's not been approved or anything, has it?
Sorry?
The planning application has not been approved yet, is it?
Nothing's been approved, that's why we're
Nothing has
discussing
been
it.
approved, so
Yeah, is there anything you want to say about it?
I'm quite happy to go along with it at the moment to see what happens at the moment.
I would suggest or propose an additional comment in that there are no lifts in the innovation hub. Okay? And as a result, only 2 out of the 15 bedroom flats are accessible with a happen to be capable of climbing stairs. So I think that needs to be highlighted that
Definitely.
if these are flats for veterans moving out
They might not have limbs.
into their next stage, they might have to reconsider that.
Yeah, I think so.
No, that's
Okay.
that's a really
That's a good point.
point actually.
So the proposal is that we
No legs.
continue our objection on the previous grounds, previous comments, and add that extra one with regard to the accessibility of the veteran flats.
That's what I think. But I only took one more.
Do we
Dwelling now, isn't it?
just add more comments?
Are we actually objecting?
Yes, we are objecting, yes.
Are we either one way or the other supporting your comments? I mean, I don't wholeheartedly object to the whole thing.
I thought it was meant to be a storage unit. Sorry.
Okay, I think the original objection premise was the fact that this has evolved to be less favourable to the veterans than what was in the original concept.
Yes,
And
I
therefore,
realise.
veteran support here has gone downhill considerably. And therefore, it's not living up to the spirit of what was originally agreed.
Okay, well, I accept that.
Okay. So I propose to object with the existing comments still standing and the further addition of the law on accessibility.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And second? Councillor Moore, all in favour? Thank you.
If they're veterans, it could be anything at this time.
So the next item on the agenda is managing the council's money. To note the bank reconciliation dated the 31st of July 2024. Want me to go through these separately? To note the income and expenditure dated the 31st of July 2024. Both of these were because they were available at the last meeting. So I propose we note those. Seconder? Councillor Harrison, all in favour? Thank you. To note the bank reconciliation dated the 31st of August. Do you have any questions or comments on that? To note the income and expenditure dated 31st of August 2024. Any questions or comments on that? And I propose we note those two items. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Kinsey, all in favour? Thank you. To confirm the payments as per the payment schedule. Are there any additions to that? Okay, so we have 5 items on the payment schedule. Everybody happy with those items? In which case I propose that. Seconder, Councillor Page, all in favour? Is there anything on delegate accounts? And to note the following developer contributions, still of £1,579.22. Received from Wiltshire Council for planning application PL 2023-01740. Okay, so I propose we note that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Forbes, all in favour? Moving on to the next item, which is to adopt the terms of reference for the events working group. Is everybody happy with those terms? Okay, then I propose those are acceptable. Council, seconded Councillor Taylor, all in favour? Next, to receive verbal reports from the Town Council's representatives to the Association of Local Councils.
Yes, thank you very much. We had the AGM last week. Unfortunately, I've left all my notes on my desk as well, so I can report next. That's all right. I thought it was because I can't remember it all. It was so exciting.
Okay.
I think we'll let you off.
Did any councillors attend the South West Wiltshire Area Board meeting? Okay, so look at these. South West Wiltshire Local Highways and Footway Improvement Group, LHFIG. There's been no meeting. The next meeting is on the 13th of November. South Wiltshire Operational Flood Working Group, again no meeting. Wilton Church of England Primary School.
Yeah, no reports, but I guess I will be getting a report from the head teacher about the money which will be donated from the Carnival Committee towards the school.
And we'll firm up the plan to transfer.
Yes.
Trustees of the Michael Health Hall.
Yeah. No meeting till. No meeting till next month.
Okay. Okay, no meeting. And Wilton United Charities.
Thank you, Mr. We have had a meeting last week, and just a couple of things to let you know. The you may know our residents don't pay rent, they pay a maintenance contribution. And this has not risen in 7 years. So we will review the maintenance contribution and potentially it may rise a little bit. I think after 7 years it's not unreasonable to consider that it might rise. But that won't come into effect until the 1st of April. Our chairman has this week sent a newsletter to our residents, and that is one of the things mentioned in it. So it won't be a surprise to them that we're having this review, and they have been given notice that we can I'd like to let you know that the work, we've done extensive work, as you may know, on the building. I noticed on Saturday the scaffolding was still up. I don't know if it's come down this week, but it should be coming down anytime now.
It is down.
It's down, thank you. Great. Well, I hope you all enjoy the new smart building that we have there. The front of the roof has been done, the back didn't need to. The windows, the doors. So there should be much ventilation throughout the flats. The windows were really very poor. So much better ventilation and also, of course, much better heat retention for people. I'd like to give you an idea of what we spent. Brace yourself, 130 grand-ish on all that work. But thanks to prudent management, and prudent investment over the years, largely thanks to the trustees, but we're led by Ivan Sevier, those of you who know him, former man. So we were able to use all our own finances for that. There's no borrowing or anything involved. So I think that's really quite impressive. Obviously, funds are somewhat depleted now, but we've been able to do all of that, without going into any debt. So I think that's, and obviously it's a once in a generation, well, hopefully more, longer generation investment. So we're very pleased to have that done. And I think all the trustees would really like to thank Mr. Sevier for all the hard work he's put into that. Really very good. On the 26th of October, we'll be doing our annual, again, this is in the newsletter, so the residents know, our annual visit to the property, because residents live there under licence and they obviously need to be able to look after themselves and the flat that they live in, so that they're a good member of the community, good neighbours to each other, and look after their property to a reasonable standard. So we go for a visit, we have a chat with them, they can give us any feedback they like, and of course this year we'll be particularly interested to see how they're enjoying the work that's been done. So that's on the 26th. And I think I've written something else down, but I can't read it. No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Next item is the town clerk's report. Any questions, comments on the town clerk's report? Councillor Wall?
Just the date at the top. The date at the top is 3rd of September.
Just one from me as well. Just on the working group, so the town clerk's report, it says toilet working group. Working group only once the title has been received from the land registry, which could be up to 2 years. So I didn't think that's what was. I didn't think that was our plan. I thought the working group was going to meet soon, like imminently.
Imminent.
It's about, on the town clerk's report, toilet working group. It's the working group will meet once the title has been received from the land registry, which is what you advise. I haven't been formally advised that you will meet soon. If you are going to meet sooner, great.
You're right to say you haven't been
You all
advised.
get it done sooner rather than later, don't you?
But I think you will be meeting soon.
Just the clarification. I'm not waiting for that. Yeah.
Councillor Wall?
Just on the note of all of the working groups, the newsletter working group, I think we decided to
put that on hold, but so I mentioned that. I think it's what the police are working with different calls that are happening even at time frame that not that the working group is being disbanded because these are the terms of reference for working groups. If it's being disbanded, please let me know. It needs to go on the agenda if it's being paused. How long?
Okay, and then I'll set the date of the next meeting as being on Tuesday, the 5th of November.
Fireworks night. Oh, Wilton. Fireworks. My dad's birthday.
Close the meeting, 2014. Thank you very much, everybody.
Recording stopped.
That's all the time.
Oh, actually, to say something to you. If you're sure the babysitter, you can't get, and just give me two. Because I can come up and sit with the monkeys.
It's just the heading, isn't it?
No, because Jason said I know, but it's just in case there's an emergency.
I know.
And that's what, peace of mind. Yeah, it was fine. I did, because Jason said that, and I said, Jason, I said, well, you should have rang me. I could have gone out there. Well, I know what Jason, but no, I mean, but honestly, Gail, if you do, the officer, I don't come up with wine because I don't drink wine, so you'll be all right. We might have fun. We might have fun. We might play games.
Are they done?
Yeah, I've stopped recording.
So I presume we can use fireworks tonight as a reason for not attending council meetings.
Yeah.
It's
in your lovely daughter yesterday for the first time in ages.
So we got to make
Yeah,
a
she's
party.
walking to Colossus.
Yeah, because
On Sunday, maybe Saturday, Sunday.
you know Jack's going, don't you?
No, oh, was he going
Because
then?
it's a
So is she coming
Tuesday.
back?
No,
Oh.
her friend.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm sure
I
it's
didn't click onto that.
You're not actually meant to know that.
if it's
No.
coming up today.
Because he's
Sunday would be better because it's closer to today.
Closer to the.
Well,
But it's
kind
getting
of a
dark
late night.
earlier, isn't it?
Yeah.
But nobody knows that. So. You keep bumping.
Saturday, it's like a little bit.
No, it's off.
Yeah. So what's something about?
So she's not allowed to move until March.
She would like
But her friend's got one, so she won't get rid of her sauce dish.
Yeah, so she's not very keen on that.
No, she wants to come out there. It's too far.
Yeah.
It's the fuel.
Yeah, it's
Travelling backwards and forwards, Salisbury would be
Well, I said to
ideal.
her, I used to hate chocolate to Bolton.
Yes, she'd rather, you know, be round here. Well, especially if we either start school in September, where she doesn't know where she's going yet, or it could be Lower Hamilton or Dinton. She'd rather be like on the doorstep rather than manage their efforts tonight.
Where's Jack going tonight? We're going to
Wilton Road next week.
I should have gone from London to
But
Q.
you don't
but
know.
I thought
That's where he's going. The staff might know it, but well, still, bless her heart. She's lovely.
that'd be nice. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
He was very good.
But he can be turnover is horrendous. It really
They were
is.
struggling for a bit of penetration, I would have said, and some of the older members.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is I think candidates have 2 weekends.
But Hannah, even though she's a manager, she works one weekend on, one week off. Something else. So it's a bit OTT. And I think
I did say to him, you've got to work on here anyway.
he doesn't know. I think he's got co-op local in
your pain,
his body.
but I'm not leaving at 4 o'clock. No, they blocked all flights.
No.
Not allowed to fly.
Yeah.
It works.
His favourite,
You get the sleeper train.
He lives in Tisdale.
I mean, I don't know if he lives there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he must be that close.
I'm not going out of my way to. You're gonna have to go. I don't mind doing a bit. Why not? Sorry, but yeah, I'm travelling. Yeah. Well, no.
Sorry, apologise to Jason and say I never had time to chat this morning because I was on a mission. Because I was beyond the curve.
I haven't seen him since he left Kensington.
And I think he went to Paul.
He probably just got the van off at the garage or
Yeah,
something.
well, he's on.
Yeah. Was he around? No way. So not when I called you.
No, I was saying I seen the back, but then I thought it might be
It might be true, but I know at one time I was on free. Yeah, you alright to all this up? No, I drove. Well, and then I was Oh I didn't actually see that one go up. No. Yeah. I know. But it didn't look like he was doing that. It looked like that, didn't it, really? He could, because the camera, he could be anything. My face wasn't very good. It's a natural face, isn't it, Teresa? No, I guess. Yeah, because he took a picture of me on Friday night. Oh, did he? Yeah. Yeah. But that was really good night. It was good. Such a good night.
Yeah,
I think I reduced the average age a little bit. I don't think you can get many people. It was like packed. And this is Pauline nearly had to go to ring one. Yeah. Because she was late. Packed. Yeah, then I'd sit right in front. Yeah. North corner front by me. I mean, it was a great evening. It was well supported, and it was great money into it. I mean, I used to charge £5 I charge a extra pound for the flyer, and to be quite honest, nobody quibbled about it. £6 for 9 games of bingo, and yeah, I won the Odeon tickets. Then my friend wanted them. No, my friend wanted them, but we've done the exchanges. She won the Chocolate and Charlie.